I tell you I was on my mind?
Okay, let's get it, bro.
Can I get a couple of things off my chest?
Yo, what's up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son, it's your kinfolk, William Jewell. And listen to my detail as I'm articulating. This is articulating. Rap. Man, how y'all doing? There's been a lot that has been going on within this past week, and I'm thankful for it. I'm very grateful for it. I can hear the spirit of hip hop. I can hear the soul of rap. I can hear it coming alive. I can hear the heart beating. I can hear it, just like the bass thumping. I can hear it like the snare drum bursting into your ear. I can hear it, right? And I like what J.Cole did. I like the bravery. I like the boldness. I like the willingness to step out there and say, I will take a jab or two as well. I like what Cole did this week, especially with the surprise album. Nobody was really looking for him to drop, but we knew Dreamville Fest was coming, right? And he usually releases a project in that time, but it's mainly a collaborative effort. But this time he decided to do it solo with a little bit of help of Boz and a couple of other guys that were features on the Might Delete Later album. But before we get into the album, we have to get into the 7-minute drill. We have to get into the Kendrick diss, the J. Cole diss towards Kendrick Lamar, right? Because this is what has shook the world, right? We thought Like That had shock value, but I think we appreciated the fact that J. Cole responded, right? And all the fan bases are going crazy right now. They're going back and forth with each other on social media, but really we need to be thankful. We need to appreciate this sparring match. We need to appreciate this quote unquote rap beef, because this has sparked something new in hip hop, something that has been going for a while, and I believe it's getting that excitement back. I believe it's inspiring all rappers, right? All people that partake in hip hop, all people that partake in the culture, even people like me that's speaking about it, that's articulating it, because I want to articulate it right. These are delicate issues. These are delicate matters, and they deserve to be handled in a delicate way. They don't deserve the bias of picking a side. They don't deserve choosing who we want as our leader, as to be in the forefront of rap, right? They deserve that equally calculated reaction. And I believe that's what I'm going to do today, because I've always been calculated. Check out this book, Incline Press, A Positive Outlook Towards the Pains of Discipline. I wrote this book, right, last year, and it was really giving people some type of inspiration, giving people advice on accomplishing their fitness goals, on accomplishing the adversity that they're going to face, and trying to get the discipline they need to reach their goals, right, to get the results. So you can check out that book on Amazon. Also go to guyswillfitness.com and get you a signed copy. Audible, you can listen to the audio book. Apple Books, you can listen to the audio book. So please show your support, show your love by copying this book, right, of me in that fitness realm. That's where I get my bread and butter, right? But we're here to talk about the meat and potatoes, right? So I wrote some notes, right, because this is a lot to tackle. I wrote some notes, right, but I do want to go over, what was said and kind of break it down in my perspective. J. Cole says, second shit put niggas to sleep, but they gassed it. So we got to think about what J. Cole is saying. He's saying that To Pimp a Butterfly is overrated, although it was critically acclaimed, although it carries one of the masterpieces of our time and all right that has led so many black power activist type of movements and the protests He just said this album is overrated. It's speaking about black liberation. It's speaking about freedom. It's speaking about the complexion. It's speaking about how much a dollar cost, our charity with the people that we see. It's talking about you ain't got a lot to kick it. The hood politics. It's talking about King Kunta. It's giving us so much game, giving us so much knowledge. I just don't like that he said that. And I see why he said that, because some people don't agree with me. Some people might not agree that it's that critically acclaimed album that critics have said it to be. Some people think it's mid because it doesn't have that party type of vibe to it. It doesn't have that upbeat tempo to it. So I see why some people in the culture might not like To Pimp a Butterfly. But if you're more conscious and you're more aware and obviously just more into the movement, into the activism, into just perceiving things in this realm a different way, I believe To Pimp a Butterfly is one of those albums. So the fact that he said second shit gassed it, put niggas to sleep, right? The fact that he said it put niggas to sleep, and J.Cole early on in his career was known for being a boring rapper. He was known for putting people to sleep. He was known for getting on tracks by himself, making beats he produced by himself, and it didn't add much flair. It didn't add much excitement. And as you can see in his career, when he became one of the greatest rappers, when he became that top tier, that peak rapper, he started doing features with others. He started letting others produce his beats, and that's how he became more and more noticeable. That's how he became more and more proficient in his craft. So I believe he learned those lessons as well. But, you know, this is the pot calling the kettle black, right? And this is a rusty pot, because To Pimp a Butterfly, compared to some of J. Cole's earlier works, you know, we can kind of look at it differently. And just seeing how the Cole fans might react, they might have really loved those albums. They might have really liked those albums. But as far as how those albums performed against To Pimp a Butterfly, as far as that classic All Right song, you know, it really doesn't have that. So I can see if you want to kind of put it up against each other, but I don't think that J. Cole was the one that needed to be saying this, right? And then To Pimp a Butterfly, right? He said, I was trailing right behind and I just now hit mine. Right, I think that was a truthful thing. He was saying he was trailing right behind. You just hit your prime. I was trailing right behind. He was saying he hit his prime on down. He hit his prime in 2017 and he was trailing right behind. Right, he was right there. But he just now hit his. Right, and it's 2024. So it's 7 years from Damn and he just now hit his prime, which nothing's wrong with that, right? But the fact that, see, I'm not trying to be biased. Like, I really want to talk about this in a non-biased way. And there's nothing wrong with being truthful about being behind, being counted out, being left out the discussion when it was just Kendrick and Drake, not being seen as a guy that was really going to be able to hold his weight into the big three. It looked like just two, you know. And I think J. Cole made his way. He continued to put out the consistent work, right? He continued to be consistent with the features, killing all the features. He continued to be consistent with the KODs, with the off season. Those was the albums that he released off after Damn, off season, KOD. And then when we talk about what he did with Dreamville here and there, what he did with a couple of singles here and there, you know, you got to appreciate his consistency. You got to appreciate that run. So J. Cole deserves to be confident, you know, deserves to feel proud about what he's accomplished in the game, especially when you hold it up to Kendrick Lamar. But Kendrick Lamar reached his peak early. And you know what happened when he reached his peak? That's when he took time off. That's when he took a step away, right? So 4 albums in 12 years, yes, you can divide. But if I've already reached my peak, I've already accomplished everything there is to accomplish. What else is there for me to accomplish, right? And we know why Kendrick is back in the fold. We know why he's trying to get back busy, because he has PG Lang, right? J. Cole had Dreamville. Right, he's done things that Kendrick hasn't done. He's had his own record label. He's had his own artists, and he's ushered them into the spotlight. Right, the JIDs, the Ari Lennox, the Earth Gang, the Boss, right, the Cos, the Omens, right? Those type of people, the Loot. He's put them on those pedestals and on those platforms with Dreamville. And Kendrick Lamar has yet to do it. That's another chink in his armor. That's another cup that he has to fill on his legacy that J. Cole has already established. So when it comes to putting PG Lang out, I think that's why Kendrick is back in the fold. I think that's why he's back in the mix. And I think that's why he want to make his presence known. So, I mean, as far as J. Cole saying that he got here off bars and not controversy, yes, he did. He just stayed with his craft and he continued to build, continued to craft, and his flow is becoming untouchable. His flow is becoming immaculate. His flow at this point is kind of reminding me of Wayne in his peak when he could just go get on any track and just flow and just rhyme and it just sounds good. Nothing awkward, nothing too sexy, nothing, you know what I'm saying, too over the top, just raw lyrics and confidence in that voice and in that flow and just continue to give you that wordplay. That's what J. Cole is doing right now. He's at the pinnacle. He's at the peak. Right? And why did Kendrick try to go after him? Why did Kendrick try to throw a sub, throw a jab at him, as people are trying to say? I mean, we know why. He wants to establish his dominance. What better way to come back in the game than to poke at the Bears? What better way than to shoot for the stars? What better way than to try to go at the guys who were considered number one in Drake, number two in J. Cole of the rap game? And I would say J. Cole is the best rapper. Drake is the best artist. So why not do that? And I feel like that was already expected of him or expected of one of them. And I feel like they were already throwing subtle jabs at each other's throughout the whole time frame of them being at the pinnacle. But now it's being clear. Now it's being a little bit more evident. And now we see in what's happening. Right? So I did say it sounded friendly. I did comment on Facebook. I did say that him saying he was trailing right behind. Him saying he don't really want to do it to him because he fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? But if push come to shove, you know, the G Money meme. Right, when Wesley Snipes was Nino Brown, he was crying before he had to kill his friend G Money, like aiming at him before he bust at him. Right, that line. He's trying to say that he really doesn't want to do it, but he has no other choice. And I came on a podcast before and I said he had no other choice. You know, I already said that he has to respond. He has to say something if he wants to be considered the top MC, if he wants to be considered the top guy. And I think he did just that. I like the beat selection. I like that he got into an up-tempo bag first to get the attention of the youth, to get the attention of the youngins, to gather them on his side, because we know what type of beat that was. That was a beat you can bob your head and move your feet to. That was a beat just like that. Probably not as good, not Metro Boomin, but it was a good beat, right? And then he went into that New York boom bap style on that energy flip, right? So he kind of tried to give us best of both worlds in that diss. He tried to give it that new up-tempo back-to-back like that diss. Then he tried to go back to the old style of how they used to rap back in the day on the East Coast. And he tried to give us that boom bap diss. So I really like how he did it. I really like how he played it. And I really like how he dropped the album with the diss. So I think J. Cole really did a great job with how he delivered this. But my only exception is the Grammy line, right? I feel like the Grammy line, he didn't need to say that because he's been on interviews saying how that's all he wanted. That's all he chased early on, right? That's all he wanted to be fulfilled into this rap game, and he never could get it. And when he finally got it, it was on somebody else's song. And now you got to think about All My Life, right? Which is also somebody else's song. J. Cole, I'm not sure, but I don't think he's won a Grammy off of his own accord. So, with that being said, you're trying to downplay another man's achievements and accomplishments when you wanted so bad to have these same accomplishments and you never did it. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's 100%. I don't think that's something that I could accept as the truth, as facts, because I know deep down you feel less of, and he's mentioned feeling like he was number 3 on the Heavens EP when he did that song with Drake. He didn't do a song with Drake, but he used the instrumental of Drake, right? So he kind of hinted at the fact that he felt left out, right? Because he didn't have the accolades and because he didn't have the number 1 songs, but he felt like as a rapper he was right there with them. So all in all, I like the diss, right? I don't think it's too friendly because I don't think they need to go to war. I don't think any violence needs to be involved, although they both said they was going to indulge in violence. J. Cole talking about body bag. If you walk around with this stick, this ain't Andre 3K. First person shooter better come with 3 switches. So, I mean, I get it, like the back and forth, but that's just wordplay. That's just rapping. But we know there's not going to be real violence. We know that they got love for each other. And to be honest, as gentlemen, as real rappers, as people that's trying to lead the youth, as guys in their upper 30s, I don't believe a violent movement will be anything that our kids need to see at this point from them. I think it would look corny, would look lame, and just will be disastrous. And I think those guys are intellectual enough to stay away from that type of stuff. So, that's just how I feel about the J. Cole diss, right? So, Kendrick, I would like to say it's 1-1. I would like to say it's 1-1. I like to say it's tied because Kendrick really didn't even say anything. Not too much. He kept it light. And for J. Cole to come back with basically 2 verses dissing him, that means that diss carried enough weight for him to really just put some effort and energy into it. And you can tell on the album he put some effort and energy into a couple lines as well. So I don't believe like one overpowered the other. But Like That is one of those songs that's probably going to be played for a long time. And in the future, we're going to look at it as one of those songs. So 7-minute drill, I don't think the lifespan, I don't think the shelf life will last as long as Like That. So at the end of the day, I do believe Kendrick will probably get the best of him in this round, but only time will tell who is going to win this battle. I don't even think there needs to be a winner, but I think that every time one goes back at the other, they need to tip the scale. They need to make sure that the people feel like, oh, somebody got him. You know what I'm saying? And I think it needs to be that one undeniable diss, that one undeniable track that both fan bases can't deny. Because when Kendrick did the Like That verse, I feel like J. Cole and Drake's fans were in denial about how potent that verse was. Then when we go to the J. Cole verse, a lot of Kendrick fans were in denial about how hard that J. Cole verse was. So I believe that that verse was solid. It was good. It didn't carry the intensity, the aggression that, we would like from the traditional hip hop fan base. But I think all in all, he did exactly what he needed to do with that diss. So J. Cole, salute to you for getting in that action. Kendrick, salute to you for stirring it up, making it known that you're coming back for your spot. And I don't think nothing's wrong with telling people I'm coming back for my spot. I left because I needed time to rest. I needed time to rejuvenate, to recover.